Welcome to Grace After Night. My name Levi. This is basically just me talking about my life and who I was before and who I'm becoming. And this is basically where broken stories reveal the faithfulness of God. Like I said, I'm Levi, and if God can redeem my life, He can redeem yours. So let's jump right into it, man. So, uh, episode one, who was I? Right. It's a different topics that I will talk about really quick, just breeze through. Um, so my childhood and the values that I grew up with was um, I was the third child of my mom. I have a brother and a sister, and we grew up in one household. You know, everything was pretty amazing, man. My brother and sister, they're a couple years older than me, but I was the baby and I was the mama's boy. So I was always around my mom, you know, just like hovering around her, just being, just that kid that always wanted to be around her. And I think I was really spoiled. I was real spoiled. My relationship with God when I was younger, I didn't really have a relationship with God like that because I felt like being at such a young age, I felt like since my mom prayed so much, I felt like she was my protector. You know, like she would say all the prayers. She would, when we go to church, I'm going with her. So I just felt like, oh, she's my protector. And because she prayed so much, I thought that it was okay that if she prayed for me, I'm good. I don't have to. Some other kids grew up in churches. I didn't really necessarily grow up in a church, but I was a kid that attended church because of my mom and my grandma and my aunt, and stuff like that. And I know some of the kids grew up with being a part of the church, choir or somebody that's, being a part of the church, handling communion, making sure it's everything is set up, um, band, everything. So I didn't really necessarily grow up in a church like that, but the dreams that I had for my life at such a young age was I always used to think that, I'm going to grow up to be rich and play football, and I'm going to buy my mom this insanely big house and give her everything she wanted. That was my goal. Like, I was set on that. I didn't care about anything else. And at that age, man, I was really fast. I was short, fast, played football, ran track. I did all of these things, man. So, um, and then the man that I wanted to become, it was kind of hard to say like the type of man that I wanted to become because I was still growing up. But I always knew that I wanted to be that type of man that people can look at me and I was always a protector from my mom. Like I was always around my mom. I always felt like that I had to be her protector. Even though I'm like 8 years old, I felt like I'm I have to protect my mom. That's why I was always overprotective over her anyways, and I was always around her. She always used to say this one thing, you don't have to follow me around all the time. You act like you my shadow, and I already have one. Um, and then looking back at the innocence I once had, I would say looking back at the innocence I once had, I was just really just a kid just with big dreams, man. A kid just, feeling that my life was pretty much already paved for me. I knew that I was good at football. I knew that I was going to go to high school and I was going to be this D1 athlete coming out of high school. Then I was going to go to college and then I was going to jump right into the NFL. Boom. And there it is. I bought my mom a big house. Um, so, yeah, man, that's just a little bit a gist about me. It will get a little bit longer, but I wanted to just make this more so just giving a little general understanding of who I was before, and not focus too much on the past, but start focus on more of the present and the future. So there's just a little understanding of who I am, and it's gonna be more episodes. I'm gonna try to do episodes every day, whatever, every other day, but just stay tuned. And then I just want to have a question that I want to end every video with. So the first one that I'm gonna end with this video is have you ever looked back and realized you've become someone you never planned to be? And I want y'all to just kind of just think about that. This doesn't have to necessarily relate to, you being young. or you being older, but just in general, like, have you ever looked back and realized you've become someone you never planned to be? Um, and I reflect on that question a lot, and I'll give you my answer in the next video. So appreciate y'all. Y'all have a blessed one. And before we get out of here, I just want to say one more thing. Your past may explain you, but it does not define you. Through Christ, redemption is always possible. Until next time, keep walking with Jesus and never stop trusting the author of your story. Grace after night.